Hello everyone and welcome to another video where we'll analyse another endgame. This time it's king and two bishops versus king. Now this is slightly more tricky than king and queen and king and rook endgames, but I'll take you through it anyway. But the same concept applies. We're going to put this king in an imaginary box with the two bishops. So first, as white will play bishop to h3, black plays king e7, and now we play bishop to f4. And straight away what this does is put a box around this king. We've cut off the king from ever escaping from these two bishops. So now this king can never escape out of these two lines of red. It can only ever move into these green squares. And as simple as it may sound, the idea now is just to bring our king up, to push away the black king into the corner so we can mate it. So king f7 from black here, and now we just get the king up. King f2. And king e7. Remember, this king cannot escape past these two bishops now. King e3, king f7. We'll play king e4, and we're going to get the king into this nice position. So king e7 again, and now king e5. This king could try to escape this way, but after, say, king d8, we're just going to play king to f6, and this bishop will become active once again. So this king can never escape. King f7, and now king f5. If black plays king e7 here, king g6, and these two bishops have still maintained their diagonals, and now we've got the king near to the black king. So if king d8, now it's just a matter of removing even more squares away from the king. So king f6, and now king e8. So the idea now is to force this king into the corner so we can mate it. So how do we do this? Well, the first move we play is bishop to c7, and what this does is limits another square away from the black king. So the d8 square is now covered by the white bishop, and also the diagonals are still maintained. So the king is now forced to play king to f8, and we take away another square once again. Now bishop to d7. So now e8 is covered, and the king can't escape because our own king is stopping this by covering all these squares. So king g8 is forced. So bishop d6 is an option here to remove this square away, but the king might be able to escape this way. Instead, we use the power of the opposition. We play king to g6 here instead, and what this does is stops this king from ever escaping from these three squares. And slowly, after king f8 and now bishop to d6, black now only has two squares, and these bishops covering these squares away from the black king. And now it's just a matter of techniques. We play bishop to e6 check. Black king is forced, got one more square left in the corner, and bishop e5 is checkmate because all the squares are covered by the white pieces. And that is just one example of how you checkmate with the two bishops and the king. So again, the concept was simple. We just cut off the king and left it no space, and brought our own king into the game, and slowly but surely remove squares away and force the king into the corner. Let's also have a look what happens if the black king is in the centre of the board. Does this change anything? Well, no, the idea is still the same, just to push the king into the corner of the board. And we can also use our king to push the other opposing king. So we can play king d2 here, and king e4, and now white just limits the squares away from the black king. So bishop b2 is the start. It rakes down this board and cuts off all those dark squares nicely. If the king goes to d5, king e3, and as you see, these two bishops again are removing a lot of squares away from the king. If king e6, trying to get around the back this way to escape these squares, again we can just push our king up using the power of the opposition. And if king d6, and now we can, as white, we can start removing some more squares. So bishop a3 check, and if king e6, bishop c4, and we've got ourselves a nice little mating net. King to d7, we play king d5, again using the power of the opposition, and this dark square bishop now cuts off the black king. Now I'll go through two options. So if king c7, this is just a technique that I showed you before, play bishop c5. If king to d7, trying to escape, we can now make more squares unavailable to black. Bishop d6 does this. It cuts off these squares very nicely indeed. king c8, king c6, and we're in this position where we're trying to force the black king into the corner. If king d8, we play bishop f7, cutting this square off. King c8, bishop to e7, cutting the d8 square off. King b8, and we're back into this nice position where it's mate in a few moves. King c8, bishop e6 check, king b8, another check, and check again, like a nice little lawnmower. If in this position the king goes to e8, we can now play just king c6, and those two bishops again cut off the black king. King's forced to d8, and now we can play our usual technique, bishop to f7, cutting the e8 square off. King c8, and now we cut off the other square. Do our lawnmower again, king b8, first king b6 to stop the king going this way, and the king's forced into the corner, bishop e6, king b8, bishop d6 check, king a8 again, and bishop to d5, checkmate. In a position like this, black can also be a bit tricky and try and escape these two bishops. For instance, king f6 is a move, but I would just play king f4. And if king g6, we'll just play bishop to b2, and now we're raking down again. We've caught the king into this box. If king h5, maybe just a move like bishop to d3. Again, we're just making the box smaller. And if a tricky move like king h6, you can just play a waiting move, and the king is forced back. Bishop to g7, we're covering this square. King h5, we play bishop to d6, we're covering this square. King's forced backwards. King f3 now. If the king goes up, we can check it on f6 with the bishop. So the king goes to h2. And now we just do our lawnmower. Bishop f6, king g1, and bishop f5. We're slowly covering all these squares, and the king's in the way to stop this king escaping. King f1, bishop c3 to stop the king escaping from here. King g1, and now just king g3. This king can't escape from these three squares again. King f1, got check, check, and checkmate. So that's how you checkmate with a king and two bishops. Use this knowledge wisely. It's a very rare event that you'll ever have to use this, but it's worth knowing, definitely. And on an even rare occasion that you've got two bishops of the same colour, it's impossible to make the black king. So just bear that in mind as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.